Would you prefer to die suddenly, like a car crash or sudden heart attack, or what I call a good hospice death, where you have a couple months, at least weeks, to say goodbye to your family, pain's under control, symptom management's good, and you die peacefully with your family gathered around you? Which would you prefer? Well, that question came to mind today, and it was a question that was asked a whole room full of hospice workers. I was at a conference, and the speaker said exactly what I just said. Which would you prefer, the sudden death or the good hospice death? And interestingly, in this room of hospice workers, about half chose the sudden death, the other half chose the good, a little bit of time to say goodbye and get prepared for your dying. Well, what brought this up is, this is the first Sunday of Lent, and I'm kind of a new Episcopalian, and we were going through the liturgy today, and I was struck by one of the statements: "Good Lord, deliver us from violence, murder, and battle, and dying suddenly and unprepared." That was in the liturgy today, and when that dying suddenly and unprepared jumped out at me, because I said, well, that reminds me of that question. Now, of course, in the context of the religious service today, most people think of being prepared in a religious sense, but there's also other ways of preparing, even if you're not religious. Being able to say goodbye to family and friends, having your affairs in order. There's a lot of things that good, have some time to get ready for it. So the takeaway for me was, one, always be prepared, because you might die suddenly. Interestingly, by the way, what that liturgy mentioned was battles, murder, violence. I guess it was written before there were cars or airplanes. We can think about those kinds of crashes that take people suddenly. Good Lord, deliver us from dying suddenly and unprepared.